Hi everyone! Thank you so much for watching another video of mine. I know I came back a freaking year ago and I said I'm back, and I didn't come back. I had some really serious health issues and that is somewhat getting sorted out now, so I am officially back. I took a little bit of time to film this video just because I wanted to make sure I can stay consistent and keep my word and not kind of ghost all of you guys. So I am back, and I would love to start off with some of the stuff that I kind of left off with from my last video. I had a bunch of stuff that I had purchased from Aliexpress and I wanted to do some comparison videos and I just didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm just going to jump right in. First item here is going to be the Kevyn Aucoin, the Contour Book, The Art of Sculpting and Defining. So this is the volume 1 book, I believe. So currently the most recent contour book that came out from Kevyn Aucoin is the volume 3. So this is volume 1. It is no longer available, but I think you can still purchase it from like third-party websites or maybe even from people that have purchased it before. And I just wanted to do this video just to make sure that you guys don't get duped and you're not purchasing an unauthentic product and paying for the price of an authentic product. So, okay, so I'm just going to start, before I start my video, on the right side is, on my right side, at least, it's always going to be the authentic item, and the left side will be the unauthentic item. So, jumping in, this one is the Kevyn Aucoin book. I know they don't look exactly the same, just because the actual palette comes in a cardboard sleeve like this. But I purchased this before I purchased this, and I threw the sleeve away. So I'm sorry about that. I do remember how it looked, and I do have a photo of it somewhere. So if I can find it, I'll put it like in a little annotation here or something. But the original Kevyn Aucoin Volume 1 retailed for $59 US plus tax. And this one here that I purchased from Aliexpress, I purchased it for $13.71 shipped. Okay, so before I even get started with the actual packaging, I'm going to start off with the sleeve. From what I remember, and even if you Google Kevyn Aucoin's Volume 1 Contour Book Palette, you'll see that this honestly looks identical. The font is on point. The color of the gold is perfect. They don't have any spelling errors from what I've seen. And really just, it looks nice. It does the printing on it. Normally when you get something from AliExpress that's a dupe, the printing is kind of fuzzy, and this one doesn't do that. So it's very crisp. It's nice and it's good. So the only thing that I do remember very clearly that is different from this cover here is that the font color is a bit too red. So the original font color is a bit of a more brown, warm brown. So it is like a milk chocolate brown color, whereas this one is a bit red. So it's like a reddish kind of brick brown color, and that really is the only giveaway. Other than that, literally everything looks on point. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Okay, so let's take this off, and now we have the two side by side. Again, real and unauthentic. So I think if you just take a look right off the bat, you can kind of tell that the lettering of Kevyn Aucoin on here, there's a huge difference. You can see that the fake one, it's very messy. It's not crisp, and it kind of, like the gold lettering kind of bleeds out a little bit into the scales of the palette, versus the original palette, which you can see is very crisp. Like the lettering, there is no bleeding, it's easy, all the lines are very distinct. So right off the bat, I think that is a dead giveaway. And I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but I feel like it's a little crooked. Like this side's a little lower than this side. Maybe it's just the angle I'm looking at it. So on the back here, they both have the label. And honestly, the label looks pretty similar. The only difference is going to be, again, the color. So this one is the real one. Let's see if I can get it better. And it's a bit of a golden brown, bronzy color versus the fake one right here, which is very, very light. Almost like a true antique gold shade, whereas that one is a bit bronzy. I'm not sure if you can see that. And the fonts, sorry, my lighting is like always in the way. Oh, here we go. So the fonts are very similar. It's really good. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell. I think that the fake one, the parts where it's bolded on the right here, it's a little bit too thick. And if you look very, very closely, it's not as crisp and it's a bit blurry. But other than that, everything is spelled correctly. It is, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. So now back to the front. You know, we have this faux, I want to say it's snake. Is it snake? Do you guys know? If you know, you can let me know in the comments below. And it has like this beautiful kind of snake pattern all around. And this, from what I've seen in the stores when I purchased this palette, is that all the palettes had a very unique print. And I think that was just to make it very realistic, though this does not contain any real leather. This is all fake plastic, so, or cardboard. Yeah, this is all fake, so it's vegan. It's not going to have any actual animal skin on here, but you can see that it's really well done. You really, like, quality wise, it is identical. So there's that little bit of imperfection there that gives it kind of its realistic traits. Okay, so now we're gonna open the books. And again, they both come with like a cardboard insert sleeve, real, unauthentic. I really think the only difference here is that you can kind of tell that this is a copy of this, just because it's not as dark. The font is not as dark. The picture is kind of faded out on this one. And, you know, just everything is a little bit more not prominent. So you can kind of see that that is just a photo, like an exact photocopy of this item here. And you can see here too, like just her skin tone color, like it's a little bit just muted out and a little bit dull as opposed to this one. But I read through all of this. It is exactly the same. Like literally they just photocopied it. Okay, so next, inside of the book, there is instructions on how to use the palette. So if you look carefully, again, this is exactly the same thing. It's copied and they did a pretty good job on it. I think really the only thing is just the color of the photos. It's just not as, like, you can see this one is just a little more green almost compared to the original. The original has true to color shades marking where the product should go on the face. And now the second page of the book, you know, they do have a misspelling right there. It says fies where it's supposed to say eyes. And so I guess that's a very big dead giveaway that it is not real. Also, the wording on here, it's very, very gold. This is more of a bronzy brown. And again, the color, you can just see the color difference. Everything is just a little lighter and the colors are just a bit greener almost. Okay, off to the next page, which is the actual palette. They're all magnetically kind of stuck together, so it kind of closes like that. So that's the first one. That's the fake one. And this is the real one. So there is a mirror on the side here. They're exactly the same. They're pretty good quality. It's not warpy or wonky or anything like that. And here is our palette. So I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but I know the printing colors were a little off and this was a little bit lighter versus that one. But product-wise, they almost look identical. So these are the sleeves here. I can tell you off the bat that the quality of this is a lot thicker versus the quality of this. This is a lot flimsier. But print-wise, it's exactly the same. Spelling is correct. All right, now on to the fun stuff. So, as you can see, Kevyn Aucoin's logo on top here, the authentic logo is a lot thinner versus the fraudulent one. So I'm not sure if you can see how much thicker that is versus this, but they did a pretty good job. And these are the shades. So the first, it starts from bottom up. The first shade is Sculpt. And Sculpt is his very famous contour powder. And that is the unauthentic one right there. So unauthentic, authentic. And I don't know, it looks exactly the same to me. And this shade, if your hairs are not too dark, is supposed to also be a blonde brow shade. So you can also use this as brow powder on your face. Okay, second shade is a highlight, and it is the Celestial Powder in Candlelight. And this one, I feel like this shade here is just like the tiniest bit more peach than this one. But other than that, they look fairly similar. And number 1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't know why that jumps over there. So number 3 is also another highlight powder. It doesn't have a shade on either of them, so I'm guessing it's just like his universal highlight shade. It's called Brighten, and they both look very similar. Number 4 is Accentuate and Highlight. So I'm guessing this is kind of like a glowy highlight type of shade, and this also looks extremely similar. I'm sorry if this palette looks a little dirty. I did kind of use it because I did purchase it before knowing that I'll be doing this video. And next is number 5, which is Define. And this one, if you have warm hair, if you're a very light brunette or a redhead, this would be a great brow powder for you as well. So it has a lot of brick brown type of qualities to it. And then lastly, number 6 is Shade. And that is, if you have dark hair, this would be a great brow powder for you as well. And this is going to be the powder that you use to really just kind of carve out the face very lightly. Okay, so now that we went over all of the colors, we are going to swatch. And I've already primed my hand with some concealer. We're going to just go in order. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I will do the top row will be the real and the bottom row will be the fake. So we're going to see how similar they are. And I'm going to tell you this right now as I'm doing this, how blown away I was at the similarities. So, I mean, it's not going to be exactly the same. As you can see, this one's a little bit ashy. So number 1, this one is Sculpt, and this is the sculpting powder / blonde brow. And you can see the real one is a little bit warmer than the fake. The fake one I feel like has like a bit of a gray tint to it, but I mean, it's very similar. And texture-wise, the softness of these powders are identical. They're both extremely buttery. They're both very smooth, and they just kind of went on like silk. So they both did really well. Okay, next in the palette is number 2. And, you know, I didn't notice this earlier, but the numbering on all of these is also very different. The fake one is obviously a lot thicker, whereas the real one is a bit more prominent in what letters, or I'm sorry, what digits they are. Like number 2 here, it's a lot fatter than this one right here. So I forgot to mention that. So next one is going to be the highlight, and it's the Celestial Powder in Candlelight. So it's that one right over there. And let's go ahead and do the next one. And again, a little bit lighter. I feel like this is a bit more flesh toned. And the fake highlight has a bit more of a sheen to it, whereas this is a very natural, like powder highlight that doesn't have a whole lot of shimmer to it, but just enough to highlight the face. Okay, going to number 3, we're going to be doing Brightened. So Brightened is the actual pearlescent type of shade here. It is a bit more reflective, and it is a bit lighter than this shade. And whoa, so that one is not similar at all. That's very blinding, but it's a beautiful highlight. It is very reflective. It almost looks duochromatic, I want to say, from where I am. There is no actual other color in here. It's just more of a very bright white. But again, texture-wise, they feel exactly the same. They feel both so luxuriously silky, and they feel really nice on the skin. Okay, so next we're going to go to Accentuate and Highlight, which is like their highlighting slash blush shade. I feel like it's kind of like a very natural muted wannabe orgasm. It's warm. It has just a hint of gold in there. And it does have that very beautiful natural luminescent property to it. And to the next one. Again, it's a little bit brighter than the original. Shade-wise, it is about the same. It's not as stark as this one right here, but this one I feel like is very, very similar. Okay, next is number 5, which is the Define and Warm Brow. So this is more of that brick, like very warm reddish brown shade. And then this one right here. Oh, so this one's actually very different. I feel like this has a lot of like purpley, taupey hues to it, whereas this is still a very warm, reddish, coppery brown. Yeah, I don't think that these are the same. Or they're not very similar. Okay, lastly, we have number 6, which is Shade and Dark Brown. And Shade and Dark Brown. Here, let me get a little more come in that nickel. So Shade and Dark Brown. So this is like going to be the darkest contour shade this palette has. And that is and this one is the fake one. This one is the fake one and the real one. So here they are side by side. Sorry, it's backwards. This one and this one. So this row here is the real one right here. I should have done it the other way. And this right side here is the fake one right there. So I think first off, you can kind of tell that a lot of them are a little lighter in color versus the original. The original is very, very natural. It's like no makeup type of a palette. And this one has like that really beautiful stark highlight that you can use to really strobe out your face. But all in all, it's extremely similar. It feels exactly the same. The powder's texture is what really blew me away. They feel the same. And honestly, when I brought this palette out today to review, I had to really do a double take to make sure that I'm, I got the right one and the right fake one. And honestly, this misspelling of the I's here has been the only dead giveaway. If I didn't have the sleeve, which I already knew that the fake one came, I still had the sleeve, I would have had to really like guess to make sure that I got the right one. So that just shows how well they make these days, and how you just have to be careful and look for little tiny clues on, a big company like this that's sold at Sephora or at a department store wouldn't come out with something that has messy lettering like this. So, little clues like that, just so you don't get scammed online when you purchase from eBay or something like that. So I do have some other reviews I'm going to be doing with like Sigma brushes and some other high-end items like that. So please stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching my video again. I mean, all of the subscribers that has stayed with me for the past few years while I was going through my medical issues. And I know I've kind of been MIA and I haven't really been updating you guys on what's happening, which one day, if you guys are curious, I will let you know and I can do an in-depth video about my health issues. But, I know I haven't filmed in a while, and so I'm kind of still trying to get back in the groove of everything. So if I missed anything, I apologize, and I will make sure I cover it in my next video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please subscribe and like, and for some of you that are new to my channel, welcome, and I'm so sorry. I am a very big talker, so I like to talk, and honestly, I like going over videos like this where I go really in depth and detail. But yeah, this was the review for the Kevyn Aucoin Volume 1 Contour Book. If you liked the video, please subscribe and like. I will be back next week with a fresh video of some exciting brushes. If you guys are into brushes, I have so many in store for you. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any suggestions on Aliexpress, or if you've seen anything on there that you like, or on eBay that you'd like for me to try and review for you guys, please just let me know. I read all of my comments and I try to reply to all of them. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!